Okay, so we covered the category for social jointly, and then we created our own group because we were a little bit concerned that we're going to run out of time, that it's not going to be balanced. So we looked at economic and employment category, and the points we came up with were work that has interactions with colleagues at workplace, but also an option working at home. So more flexibility in location and time. Then we have a suggestion for technology for interconnectedness and cross collaborations. So work that would allow, and technology that would allow engagement that way. Also gender equity. Then good work opportunities, employment opportunities for, by linking academia with public and private sector, and thereby creating a better quality entry-level jobs for young people. And then finally, we had a proposal that, let's say, one day of a week, you would, in a week, you would spend on social environmental engagement in a community, and that would count towards your total employment hours. In terms of transport, we didn't go into as much detail, but I think a lot of the overlap and agreement we would have with the previous group. So everything was sort of considered in the smart mobility scheme, but also emphasis on if we use, let's say, cycling or non-powered vehicles like biking, it would be through connected green spaces and not, congested areas. So focus on intermodality, ability to choose from different modes of transport, and for people living, let's say, outside of town, where there is no public transport, there will be park and ride option. But the focus is on high quality public transport, actually, to carry as much of the city inhabitants as possible, because that would lead to reduced car traffic and congestion on the streets. We're assuming that all transport will be electrified by then. And in terms of smart technologies, Internet of Things, for example, there would need to be interconnectivity through the technologies for, let's say, for parking spaces, and for shared, for e-sharing, for cars, bikes, and so forth. So the goal here is less traffic in cities in general, hopefully less cars, therefore. We were also thinking that maybe size of the vehicles, having adjusted to purpose might be helpful. And advantages being created for ride sharing. So if you have 2 or more people in the car, you would have a preferred lane. And also lanes for buses, of course, public transport, and so on. So that's as far as transport. And in terms of consumption and food, so again, the choice here being that having seasonal and ecological food, less processed foods, generally, less pesticides, chemicals, but also distribution, more social just distribution, so that it wouldn't be only accessible to certain economic sectors. And there would be labeling and information with sort of educational purpose on the food, so that not only do you know what you're buying, but sort of where it came from, There would be a price attached to foods that are extra local, therefore, you know, accounting for the full production cycle of the food, origin and so forth. Also, we favor generally less consumption and less waste, more reuse, recycling, repair, and so forth. Also, what emerged here is that actually ownership is not this. The idea of ownership is sort of transitioning into more of a sharing culture with shared cars and shared spaces and so forth. Shared food where you order from farms and then you share it among you know, households in the same house and so forth. So I think anything else? No? Okay. I think
Thank you.